I am really honored to have in the studio today Dave Starcher and his daughter Taylor Starcher. The name of this podcast is Innovation Generation, and I think this is the first time that we've interviewed a father-daughter team where entrepreneurship is very much a part of your family history and where multiple generations are experiencing and advancing entrepreneurship and having an impact in very different spheres. Welcome to Innovation Generation, a podcast of the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at Grove City College, where we hear the inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and explore the hopefulness of entrepreneurial thinking wherever we find it. I'm your host, Tim Sweet, and this is Innovation Generation. I'm really happy to have you both with us in the studio today.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Thanks, Tim, for having us.
So, Dave, you are a Grove City graduate and also a parent of a Grove City graduate at this point. What year did you graduate, Dave?
1988.
1988. That seems like a long time ago.
It sure does. Thank you for reminding me.
And Taylor, you are a more recent graduate.
2019.
2019. So,
Yep.
This is really an honor to have you in the studio today. Dave, tell us a little bit about what you studied at Grove City and a little bit about your career path, and then I'm going to kind of move that to you as well. Mm-hmm. Taylor, if you could talk a little bit about that. But Dave, tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. I was a business administration major, which no longer exists. I assume management would be the closest thing. I had a minor in marketing, and I was very fortunate in that I knew coming to college that I wanted to be in sales. My dad was in sales. I liked that idea. I liked the idea of selling B2B. And so it was just a question of what market I would be in. And my first job out of college was to be an inside salesperson for a steel distributor. And I didn't like that too much. Left that job after about 10 months and found really the perfect job for me was outside sales for a computer company called Wallace, a Fortune 500 company who gave me some amazing and excellent training. I was with them for about 5 years, moved up the ladder, was promoted and enjoyed that. But at the same time, I felt like something was missing. I had a cousin who was in medical sales, and I quickly realized that's really where my heart was. It was just such a huge industry and just very exciting. And I then worked for Medline for 10 years, and that was probably my favorite part of my career, just because of the people I met, the things I got to do, the places I got to go and visit, and dealing with all parts of the hospital too. But then the family business called and they needed some help. I was trying to help them while I was in medical sales, and no matter what I did, they were relentless. They wanted me in. And so they sort of pulled on my heartstrings when Taylor was just a kid and said, wouldn't it be nice to have lunch with your daughter every day instead of being 2 hours from home every time your wife calls you? So I became our national sales manager and now run a team of about 10 people, and we enjoy that. And I think we are very entrepreneurial in everything that we do.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the company, Keystone Ridge Designs, in Butler, Pennsylvania. Tell us a little bit about what the company does and how you have filled a very important role there in this very entrepreneurially minded family business.
Sure. We are a manufacturer of commercial grade site furnishings. So those are things like benches, table and chair sets, bike racks, litter receptacles, planters, and much, much more. We are blessed to be on the campus here at Grove City College. We make a beautiful product that lasts and is worth every dollar just because of the craftsmanship that's inherent in it. And we have a lot of fun with that. We are constantly trying to find new ways to market our products. And I think the best thing we do is we like to customize things for our clients. So if they want something to be slightly different, then we will do it that way for them.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, Taylor, you grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. You saw your mom and your dad working in the company. Tell us a little bit about how you grew up seeing entrepreneurship as an option for you. And then maybe tell us a little bit about your journey to Grove City and what you studied,
Sure.
and maybe a little bit about your grandfather too, because I
Sure.
know he was so important.
I think growing up, it was so cool to see my whole family working together. That was an experience that most people don't see or have, not to mention all of my family being so close together in terms of living. So I really loved that, and I loved just the aspect of a little bit of freedom, being able to kind of do what you want, have your own values, your own company. That was very cool to me. And I had great parents. What can I say? Pretty good. So yeah, it was very cool. It made me definitely, they are the reason why I started my own business, especially my grandpa too, just giving yourself that freedom. And I didn't want to work for anyone. And I think that's the case for a lot of people in my family. So
Tell us a little bit about his influence on your life, because this
Yeah.
we're talking about two generations now, but
Three.
there is a third generation in the background here that is so vital
yeah.
to the story of both of you.
Yeah, so my grandpa basically started Keystone with my grandma. God bless her. She put up with all his shenanigans and stubbornness, but he was the reason that I even got into photography in the first place, which I'll talk about into my journey at Grove City. But he basically, I'd say a lot of my stubbornness and wanting to work for myself came from him. So he just really gave me that entrepreneurial spirit. And yeah, photography was something that he picked up kind of as a little side hobby. And every time he got a new camera, I would get his old one. And I say old because they were still very nice and expensive. So from like the age of 12, I just was able to tinker with this amazing equipment and kind of learn on my own. And that's exactly how I grew in my photography, was just practicing all the time with him. I mean, we would go drive around country roads and photograph cows. We'd go down to Pittsburgh and photograph the skyline. So that just really developed my passion for it to begin with.
You had a buddy in
Yeah,
your
he was
grandfather,
like
didn't you?
totally my best friend. He did pass 2 years ago, and it's been rough because it's just like our whole family is so close, and he was the reason for a lot of our family and where we are today. So, but it's great. We have lots of good memories of him, and he honestly has, my career is because of him, so I have this like passion to continue it and continue his legacy, and I think a lot of my family members could say the same.
Yeah. Dave, you met your wife Heather here at Grove City.
I did.
And was she an entrepreneur at that time? Did she think in entrepreneurial ways? Or?
She was, in a way. She was an international business major.
Yeah.
And I think she saw some opportunities that she might be able to help the family business with some sales overseas. Because before Keystone, there was a company called GTH, and there was another company called Custom Structures.
These were both family businesses that your father-in-law founded?
Correct.
Yeah.
They were doing a lot of international sales, and so I think my wife headed that way, knowing that she would be called to help. But the best thing she did was she got a job with H.J. Heinz and worked in ketchup marketing, which I used to tease her about and say, Heinz really doesn't need to market their ketchup. They are the best, right? But
Anyone in Pittsburgh would say this.
Of
right?
course.
Yeah.
But that was the best thing she could have done because she gained extremely valuable experience. She did that for probably somewhere from 5 to 7 years before being pulled back into the family business. And she's just really done a great job spearheading Keystone with her brother Artie since that moment that they both came back into the business.
Yeah.
And since I've come in, the business has grown leaps and bounds. We've tripled sales since I came in, and we continue to do well. And that's a nice thing about our business is we are always looking for other opportunities. looking to provide other services, other manufacturing ideas. At one point, we had a business called Vessel Building Solutions, where we manufactured steel studs for commercial buildings. And so that was an interesting, idea that I guess we probably did that for about 5 or 6 years before we decided to hang it up. It was quite a commodity, so
Sure.
we worked really hard to not make a lot of money, but we learned a lot, and it's still profitable. So we're always looking for those avenues.
Yeah. And so you met at Grove City. You kind of forged your life together here, and Grove City was always something that was part of your family. Is that correct?
100%, very important. Really started with Heather and me because I'd really never heard of Grove City until I was looking at schools, and I had a relative that mentioned it to me, and that's how it all came around. But the college continues to be just a huge, important part of our lives. We're very active on campus. I'm on alumni council. Heather's a huge supporter of the women's sports, so she's very involved with both basketball and soccer, and we love to have those kids down with their coaches, and they come to some of our property, and they do some bonding and team work and things like that. I love to come back and speak on campus if I can. It's been great being in your class, whether it's sales in the startup or another such variety. So Grove City just is near and dear to our hearts. And to be honest, I don't have an exact number, but over the years, since I've been at Keystone for almost 22 years, I bet I have hired at least 30 Grove City graduates.
Is that right? Wow.
And of course, some have come and gone. We still have about 14 that work for us, and Grove City College has really made the difference for us in terms of our culture. So that's the foundation, the glue that holds our company together.
It's an interesting idea. What is it about Grove City students that you are drawn to? I know you're Grovers yourselves, but what kind of difference do you see in the students that you hire out of Grove City that maybe you can't depend on maybe from other institutions?
Mm-hmm. We've tried too. We've hired kids from honestly every college in the area, and it is interesting because there's maybe one who has worked out, and I like to tease him all the time and call him the anomaly.
One student from a non-Grove City
Correct.
background. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
and he's a Slippery Rock guy, so shout out to you, Justin. But the Grovers typically have the foundation that we are looking for. We are a very close-knit group. There's about 28 of us maybe in the office, and having those similar beliefs, having that faith, I think that just holds us all together. We are all holding ourselves accountable. I think that's a big part of it. So whether you're on my sales team or you're in marketing or even involved with our production, working hard every day and holding yourself accountable and being sort of a self-starter is what has made our business grow, because we don't have time to babysit and hold hands, right? We hire a more mature person who is ready to go and eager to learn and eager to do, willing to help in any way they can. So I just think having those kinds of qualities are what set Grove City apart. You've been through a rigorous academia that really tests you, and I think that makes a difference too, that we have people that are willing to push themselves.
So, Taylor, having grown up in a family that is very entrepreneurial and very oriented toward independent small business, family business development, and also one that has given you lots of exposure to Grove City College, was it a natural thing that you would just say, well, my parents went to Grove City, we hire all these people, I think I should go there myself? Or
Yeah.
what was your process like for making a college choice and then maybe a major choice as
Sure.
well?
Yeah, I think, part of me obviously felt like this was home because I was so used to coming up on the campus growing up. It's, roughly 30 minutes from my house. So I felt like I had the distance, but I could still go home if I wanted to. I'm not going to lie, there was a little bit of a rebellious part of me that was kind of like, I don't want to go to Grove City because my whole family's gone, my aunt and uncle's gone, my parents gone. It just, I'm not going there. And I did look at other schools, but at the end of the day, like I said, it felt like home coming here. I felt very comfortable, and I just knew that even if I ended up transferring or whatever, I would be able to just feel comfortable going here. And I did at the time. One of my best friends from high school was coming here for mechanical engineering. So that made my decision a whole lot easier because we were going to be roommates, and we were. And it was awesome. So yeah, it was a good decision. I'm very thankful for the school. And just talking to people in the many years after graduation, when I'm like, yeah, I still talk with my professors quite often. I'm very close with them. They think it's crazy. They're like, what do you mean you're friends? Or you go out to lunch with them? Or they don't have that relationship. And I think that's something I'm so thankful for with Grove City is it gave me lifelong mentors and friends. So
you had, when you were here as a student, you had a lot of community.
Yeah.
But you found that community has transcended your
Yeah.
time here. It's not limited to your 4 years in college.
Well, not to mention, I know for me specifically, just networking outside of college and finding jobs or finding different activities or hobbies, like the Grove City community is so strong. Even 20 years out of Grove City, I've seen people that are still connected and meeting new people, and they're like, oh, Grove City, what a great connection. And yeah, I think that community is definitely strong for sure.
So as you were designing your academic experiences, the major you chose, tell us a little bit about that experience because you chose communications as a major,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
And then how did that evolve as you were at Grove City?
Yeah, I chose communication studies mainly because I wanted to go to school for photography, but Grove City didn't have that major. I don't even think they didn't have a photography class at the time even. But I knew I needed some other sort of background with photography. My mom and dad both were like, maybe get some business classes under your belt, entrepreneurship. Communication studies had a lot of just the surrounding aspects that came with having a photography business. And I didn't come in 100% knowing I wanted to start my own business, especially with photography. I just knew that was my lifelong dream and goal. So I kind of wanted to make it happen. But the comm studies gave me a little more professional,
Sure.
But it was a great major. I think it taught me a lot about like the aspects of owning a photography business, a digital business. But I will say I took a lot of different classes, like entrepreneurship definitely helped me a lot. Marketing, my PAL class was like life-changing. And I think still to this day, I have my notes from marketing with Dr. Powell, and I still look at them sometimes just for random things, and I'm like, oh, that's a good way to look at this negotiation or this email, and yeah, so it still pays off to this day.
Fantastic.
So
I would have thought it would have been easy for you to just slide into the family business, right? Would you have had a spot for her had she said, hey, I want to join the family business, I want to be a part of this? Could have been easy to move in that direction.
We did. We had, once again, another entrepreneurial opportunity with a company called Start Creative. We got into creating customized signage, if you will. A little bit different than our bench and, trash can line, but we make a lot of signage for example, recycling containers. A lot of people want very specific verbiage on products, or maybe they want their logo and things like that. So Start Creative was going to be a company that just sold those types of products, and we were very interested in her coming into that, maybe even taking it over. It certainly involved photography, which was her strength. And, to her credit, she came in, did that for 6 months or so, but then quickly decided that that wasn't quite going to be it for her. And I'm so glad that she had the courage to feel that way and to have the guts to say, you know what, I'm going to go a different route here, and I know I can make it because, she's good at what she does, and she's confident.
Tell us
stubborn
about
too.
this, and maybe help some of our listeners understand the kind of business that you developed and where you are now. It's very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So, like he said, I did start for about 6 months, loved it, but I think it was a very safe business. I could have been in the family business and been very happy, but I also knew there was a part of me that just wanted something different, bigger, also just wanted to move away for a little bit. I love where I grew up, love my family and the property and everything, but I just wanted to see the world, and travel photography actually was like my first love. I do dog photography now, but travel just with nature and landscapes and people, that was my dream of just doing like a National Geographic type pursuit. So I just really wanted to get out and see different parts of the country. So I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and during the time we were unfortunately in lockdown, so COVID happened, and it kind of changed the game for everyone, obviously. But during that time, I didn't have a job. I had some savings from work, and I decided, well, what if I just started taking pictures of people and family photos to make some money? Dogs happened to be there for a few of the shoots, and I thought, people are really obsessed with their dogs, like I was growing up. We had family dogs. I would always dress them up in funny costumes and take pictures of them. So I thought, what if I specialized in dog photography? And I had seen other people do it successfully in the area and other big cities. So I kind of had this idea to just really build a portfolio of dog photography. So I would do free shoots for people. I'd reach out to them through local dog daycare centers. I'd find people and just say, hey, would love to do free photos, completely free for you. You get to keep all the pictures. I just want to post them on my website and build a portfolio. So I did that for months, made no money at all, but it was great because it built a portfolio. And then I had people come to me and say, hey, I just got engaged. I want photos of my partner and I with our dog, and saying like, my humans are engaged and things like that. So, I kind of got into that with people and their dogs, and that became my specialty, doing Christmas card photos, family pictures, things like that. And then I think it was probably maybe like 3 months in or so, I had one person reach out to do a just dog shoot. She didn't want to be in any of the pictures. She just wanted her dog photographed. And to me, that was kind of crazy because I think, it was like a $350 shoot. And she wanted it. She had a couple different locations, different outfits for the dog, different bandanas. And I thought it was kind of insane, but also it made me realize there is a market for this, and people are willing to spend the money to have these gorgeous photos of their dogs. So that took off, and that was what I did for the next year or so, just specializing in dog clients. But yeah, and then I can segue, I guess, into kind of the product photography aspect of that.
Well, I want to make a note here because I think this is really fascinating. Dave, were you and Heather all on board with this? Like, go. We know you're going to make a ton of money doing this. What a career path.
No, her mother told her that she was going to fail, and she had to move home immediately.
Yeah.
And she said, it's COVID. No one wants to be out meeting new people.
Or doing photo shoots and spending money. She was like, no one's going to spend money right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So her mother basically challenged her, and that was the gauntlet that Taylor needed to be like, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
In the Starcher family, this is a theme, right?
It really is.
It is.
The greatest pleasure in life is doing what other people tell you you cannot do. That's a great quote by a guy named Walter Bajout, and it's been part of my motto since I first saw it in high school.
Fantastic. And so I think the principle here is you just experimented. Let's do things for free.
Yep.
Let's find out where the need is. And you discovered needs and demand that surprised you.
Yeah.
As
Well,
much as you were a dog lover,
Yeah.
still surprised you.
Yeah, it was, and that's the thing. I love dogs, but would I spend $350 for a photo shoot? I don't know. I mean, now I totally would, but at the time I just thought that was crazy, and it was so much money, and I didn't have money, so to do an hour shoot, make $350, and then get to edit photos while watching Netflix was my dream job. So yeah, I was thrilled. And in the process, I ended up adopting a dog from the shelter in Charlotte. And little Teddy, he was my firstborn, and I just remember thinking like, okay, now I have my own dog. How could I do stuff at home with him or do photo shoots? And at the time, social media with like pet influencing had kind of started. It had been a thing, but it wasn't anywhere near what it is now.
Wasn't a mature industry
No.
at that time. Yeah.
But it was really interesting because I was seeing other pet influencers with larger followings, getting free stuff for their dog in exchange for a post or something. So I kind of started reaching out to people. I did, luckily and this is why I think college was so important for me. I built my website in college, so I had that ready to go. So I already had like the website built. I had my email set up, a professional email. So I had a lot of that stuff just ready to go. So
you
then
had taken some entrepreneurship classes and
I knew about
used
SEO
that
and
as a part of your education. You got to actually apply that to your own business idea,
which
even
helped.
though it was just a concept at the time, but you at least had a structure for that.
And I knew, if I wanted to try to grow a social media following, about hashtag implementation, and then just everything like that goes along with that, I think college definitely helps. Do I think everyone needs to go to college? Probably not, but did it help me so much professionally? And then to add my creative part into it, it was amazing. So anyways, I started posting Teddy with different products, and then I'd tag the brand and say, hey, if you want to send me more, I'll take more photos, and you can use them on your social media or your website. And I quickly realized that not only could I get free product, because I had an abundance of free product at that point. I'm like, I don't have any more room for free product. So
This
I
is
thought,
like dog food, dog treats.
I had a whole cabinet of
accessories,
just treats. Yes,
toys,
bandanas, toys.
Yeah.
And I just was like, so I could probably charge for this now because I had this huge portfolio, and I was using the dog treats with other clients. So I'd reach out to my previous clients that I used for free and say, hey, I'll give you another free shoot. Can I use this dog treat with them and, make it a product shoot? And people were thrilled to get more free photos of their dog. So I had I had probably 100 dogs that I posed with, probably more over the years with products and stuff to just get the attention of brands. And it helped a lot because then I was able to start charging. I created rate sheets. I could figure out, okay, what do I charge them? How many dogs? How many locations? How many products are used in these photos? And that kind of started the whole journey with product photography.
So the intergenerational entrepreneurial spirit, which has been very much part of the Starcher family, really rose to the surface here.
Yeah,
and served you well.
It was crazy to have a passion and kind of like a side hustle, and part of me for a while was like, I'm going to have to get a real job. I'm not making enough money. And then to see it turn into something that I thought, okay, wow, I'm going to be able to work for myself and build this. It was very exciting. And felt like the entrepreneurial spirit just was ready to go.
And how does your mom feel about it now?
She has openly apologized to me, and that's rare for her to admit fault. And I will say it felt good.
Heather.
We love
all
Heather.
love Heather.
We love her, but it felt good for her to say, I'm wrong and I'm proud of you.
Well, and we are proud of her.
Yeah, yeah.
Tim, she's partnered with probably between 40 and 50 different companies that will pay her on a monthly basis for either photos, social media, videos, just any kind of content. And it's so great to see her negotiating these deals all on her own. Occasionally she asks the old man
I had a lot of help from him in the beginning. I was stressed.
But it's been fun for us. It's been a bonding thing, and we're just so proud of where it's gone and what she's built. And it's a lot of hard work. Anybody that wants to be an entrepreneur needs to really understand that there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Now, yes, there's a lot of reward too. You certainly work for yourself, make your own hours, but Taylor will tell you that there's many nights where she and I are still working at 11 p.m. and that's just part of it.
But it keeps you talking about things that you're both interested in and mutually supporting one another. Though you have vastly different businesses, it's that entrepreneurial context that really supports all of you in the various things that you're aiming to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the one thing, like people always say, I don't know who quoted it, but it's when you love what you do, it shouldn't feel like work. And sure, you do have some things during the process that you don't love 100%. Like for me, it's email pitching, but it's still, I get to be on my couch with my dogs doing that. And sure, it's a job, it's work, but I love it. And so it's a passion of mine, and I'm so thankful for it. And I think, you can say the same when you own a business and you get to work for yourself. Like those rewards are so worth it in the end.
I've yet to do a podcast episode with dogs or other animals. Maybe that's a thing that we could
can
do
bring 'em
someday. Yeah. But if people want to check out your business, where would you direct them to find out what you're doing? And maybe some of our prospective students out there and parents are saying, what kind of business is this?
Yeah.
Where would they go
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
try to
'cause
get a
it's-
feel for it?
When I explain it to people and I say, normally when people ask me what I do, I'm like, oh, dog photography. They're like, okay, so she's just doing family photos on the side, whatever.
Yeah.
And then when I show them my stuff, they're like, oh, wow, okay, this is a lot bigger. It's just
This is
different than
legit.
what they would have expected. But in high school, so my full name is Taylor Starcher. In high school, someone started calling me T-Starch. It kind of stuck. And all throughout college, people called me it. And so my website during school was tstarch.com. And when I've had the handle T-Starch for a personal page. And then when I kind of started my business, I thought, well, what if I kept the brand T-Starch and then I could just do like T-Starch Dog. And then maybe someday if I do travel, I have T-Starch Travel. I created merch, so it's T-Starch Shop. Like I have a whole plethora of T-Starch accounts. So anyways, T-Starch is everything that it is under. And then the separate little things are all tagged. But yeah, my website has it, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything is T-Starch. So yeah.
Fantastic. So, Dave, I see the pride in your face.
I'm his favorite daughter. So, yeah.
I know
No comment.
that you're really proud of what she's done, and it's really great to see your business thriving. You sent her to Grove City College with obviously the blessing of both you and your wife and other people who really believed in Grove City experience. What would you say to parents who are thinking about supporting their children in coming to Grove City College? Maybe they're wrestling with that choice. Is this a place where my students will thrive? What kind of results would I see? What kind of character development would I see? Any recommendations to parents who are kind of still in that zone of, hey, this might be the right place, but I'd like to know what other parents have experienced. What would you say to them?
Sure. I'd say you're crazy if you don't send your child here. A lot has changed since I've been here and graduated here in 1988. However, certain things don't change. The value of the education you get here is unbelievable. You can market that so well with employers who, by the way, come flocking to hire Grove City students. They come here because of the quality they know they're getting. Just like I said, I hire a lot of Grove City students. So, employment is just one of the reasons to send your child here. Just the moral backbone, the fiber of faith, the strength of the professors like you, Dr. Sweet, are a great reason to send your child here. And in speaking in a number of these classes, whether it's yours or Dr. Coker's or Dr. Smith's, it's just been fun to be involved with some of these sales classes and see the strength of the education that these kids are getting. We bring in real world leaders and speakers. Every time I turn around, whether it's Mike Pence or the original Auntie Anne, or some of the founders of Chick-fil-A. Grove City is a big deal, and it's amazing what the kids have an opportunity to experience just by coming here. And I think that they're just leaps and bounds ahead of other kids that go to other schools that maybe just don't get some of those special things. And as Taylor said, the relationships are lifelong as well, and that should be the main reason, I think, to send your kid here.
Well, I can't thank you enough for sharing both of your stories, your integrated story and your individual stories. I think it's a beautiful thing that God is doing in your lives.
Absolutely.
Through entrepreneurship, through family values, through building connections that are based on faith and a real desire to have a positive impact in the world. And so I thank you both for coming today, for sharing that, and for inspiring all of us to look forward to a time when God calls us to do something that might even be surprising.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
open up new doors and vistas of opportunity as he has done for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
always
you
exciting.
so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
And,
our pleasure.
We look forward to many more years of great things from the Starcher family.
And the next podcast will be all 4 dogs sitting at a table eating
I
into
love
the
it.
mics.
I love it. I think we could do something with that. I think there's some potential for going viral with something like that.
We're ready.
But if we can work out the logistics, I'd be all about it.
Maybe you need to come down to us.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a great day, and we'll have you back someday to
Okay.
tell more of your ongoing story.
Thank you again.
Thank you again. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today on Innovation Generation. We're glad you could join us, and we invite you to come back for more episodes. To contact us, you can find us at gccentrepreneurshiп.com, or you can follow us on social media at GCC Entrepreneur.